Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. So Diablo Immortal's been out about a week. Let's see how it's doing. Oh, raging trash fire, just like we all predicted, pretty much everybody. So where to start? Well, the loot boxes. For one, obviously Diablo Immortal is free to play, so they're expected to some degree, but man, Blizzard is really trying to go after some whales with this one. A video by the YouTuber Bellular News suggests that if you want to fully upgrade your character in Diablo Immortal, it will cost, I'll let you guess. You got your guess? You're low. It'll cost $110,000. I guess if that's what y'all want to spend your money on, I would get a car. I would save for retirement. College funds for the kids. Kicking ass in a mobile game seems like it would be low on the priority, but I'm old. That's just me. So after some analysis, Bellular News determined that the game has a unique monetization system that's set up in a way that makes character min-maxing very, very expensive. Why is that? Well, there are these items called legendary gems in the game, and they pretty much dictate your entire in-game progression beyond just the level cap. This is sort of beyond. This is post-game stuff. So legendary gems offer huge health benefits, huge damage benefits. Each of them has a legendary effect that's very powerful. It's very important to your in-game build. And in Diablo, your in-game build, that's pretty much everything. So the gems are randomly awarded if you buy a legendary crest, aka a loot box. Now, you can earn 3 legendary crests each month for free. Very generous of y'all, Blizzard. Other than that, you gotta spend money, and those are basically the loot boxes. According to Forbes, players only have a 0.05% chance of getting a 5-star legendary gem for each legendary crest used. So it's tiny, very, very tiny. And Bellular News argues that the legendary gems are a deliberately convoluted system, and they claim it would take roughly 10 years of playtime for a free-to-play player to fully max out their character. Now, obviously, we're talking about fully max going all the way. And, most people aren't going to get to that. But if you do, obviously, there is either a ton of money or a ton of time involved, and who knows if Blizzard is even going to be around for 10 years. Now, we should note there are some good things about the game. It has gotten a lot of praise for its gameplay loop. Paul Tassi in Forbes wrote, "At its core, Diablo Immortal has phenomenal gameplay that translates the core of the series to mobile in a way that is far more fun than I would have imagined. The visuals, UI, campaign are all stellar for mobile, and in many ways, this is the Diablo MMO that fans have always wanted." I played a little bit of it myself. The beginning, it is fun. There's a lot of progression. They get you hooked, but I have not hit that level slowdown yet by any means. But yeah, the issue is monetization. As Tassi notes, true in-game builds are not based on grinding, but paying thousands, tens of thousands, even potentially $100,000 to max out. Tassi also noted the convoluted nature of Diablo Immortal, saying that while Diablo 3 had legendary gems too, it was a more straightforward system, whereas the gem system in Immortal is so elaborate and labyrinthine that I just don't know if there's any going back. To illustrate that point, one streamer, Quinn69, nice, spent nearly $4,000 on the game and didn't get any of the 5-star legendary gems. Those are the best gems, the most highly coveted. Quinn69 in their stream said, "I'm not a whale, I'm a scientist. The world needs to know about this system." Really starting to see why Belgium and the Netherlands banned this game. And again, we have seen monetization in lots of free-to-play games. Some of them do them fairly well. Warframe, for example, has a premium currency, Platinum, that allows you to skip a lot of grinding, but it's not 10 years worth of grinding you're skipping. As a result, players are resorting to one of the few tools they have to express their discontent: reviews. Over on Metacritic, when I checked, it had a 0.6 user score. It might be lower, it might be higher, but that's what it was when I checked. That is tied for Warcraft 3 Reforged for second worst in Blizzard history in terms of user reviews. That's behind only the Burning Crusade Classic expansion to WoW. Now, a common thread is that a lot of users enjoyed the game at first, but it's when you hit the end game that the microtransactions really start to become apparent. User I'm Just a Sexy Boy really delivered some sweet chin music to Blizzard, writing, "Horrible. I will never touch this game again, and anyone that cares about any other Blizzard games shouldn't either." And user Tofi Solo added, "This is a pay-to-win model of Diablo 3. absolute trash. Now, we should note that the critic score was very different. On Metacritic, it has a 75 on iOS. That's very respectable. Reviewers said they got a lot out of the game and said you can play through the storyline without getting a high-pressure pitch to spend money. 2 Kotaku staffers posted a chat this week. Both said they're enjoying it. Staff writer Zach Zwiesen said, "I keep thinking about how this game with a few changes could easily be a $40 theme. And yet, if you just want to play the story of Diablo Immortal and run some raids online, you can do all that for nothing. At least, that's what it feels like to me." Now, let's get to what Blizzard said, because they were very misleading about what would cost money and what wouldn't. The game's director, Wyatt Cheng, the do you not have phones guy, he blamed the backlash on the game due to misinformation. He's been on Twitter responding to people's criticism. One Twitter user, Yang Buddies, asked, "Why, curious why you bothered responding to these arguments. King doesn't justify charging $100 for a pack of lives in Candy Crush. Why does Blizzard feel like it needs to be apologetic for a game that costs $50 million plus in 6 years to make?" To which Ching responded, "Heart, thanks for asking. I don't like it if information is misleading. There's a difference between players liking or not liking a game based on its merits, which I can accept, not every game is for everybody, versus liking or not liking a game based on misinformation surrounding it." But here's the deal. It's pretty clear that Ching himself lied or greatly misled people about the pay-to-win mechanics of Diablo Immortal, or at least walked a very fine line between fact and fiction. The streamer Zizaran pulled up a Reddit post from 4 months ago from Ching. Back then, he said that in Diablo Immortal, there is no way to acquire or rank up gear using money. Now, he wasn't the only one. In an interview with VG247, principal game designer Joe Grubb said something similar, telling them, "We will never sell gear. We will never sell experience in Diablo Immortal. What that means is you have to play Diablo Immortal to increase value. You have to have skill at your class." Now, in hindsight, it's very obvious that both of them were intentionally leaving out legendary gems in their definition of gear, because those can obviously be used to power up your character to an incredible degree. But saying things like, "We will never sell gear," they were deliberately giving people the impression that Diablo Immortal was not pay to win when it very clearly is. So at best, they're splitting hairs and being disingenuous when they're saying stuff like, "We will never sell gear." That leads to people thinking things like, oh, maybe they're just going to charge for cosmetics or things like that, something like, Fortnite does. But obviously, you are paying for power in the game. So I feel like it's very disingenuous of them to go back and say, "Oh, we never said that. Well, gems aren't gear. We didn't mean that." It's like, come on, dudes. You know what y'all are saying, please. Ching tried to defend himself against all this. In response to Zizaran's tweet, he wrote, "Hey Ziz, I've been pretty upfront in many interviews, though apparently not in this post, that gear was the 12 item slots. In many interviews, I also clearly state that money can advance gems and legendary gems. I'm sorry this wasn't clear here." So again, it's not clear what misinformation that Ching is talking about. What is clear is that this game seems very much designed to be whale bait, and its developers, again, were being, at the very least, deliberately vague about how pay to win Diablo Immortal is. What's next? I'm guessing that Blizzard will probably issue an apology soon and roll back some of their most egregious features. After they've caught enough whales, they've made their money, it's time to move on. So it's a little like, I feel like right now is where they're trying to get the whales and then they'll scale it back and then, "Oh, we're sorry, we listened to the community and now we're responding," and all this. But it's kind of crappy the way they did it. Oh, and we're also getting reports of hackers running rampant in the end game with speed hacks and immortality hacks. So yeah, everything is going great. All right, guys, we'll get to the rest of the stories in just a second. But first, let's talk about Manscaped. Guys, Father's Day is just around the corner, and our friends at Manscaped, they're here to ensure that all the father figures out there are looking daddy material this June. Like me, I'm a daddy material. Father's Day, it rules. I don't have to do anything. It's just people just ply me with gifts. It rules. Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 includes their signature Lawnmower 4.0, the perfect bundle to tackle any and all old man hair that hit hard, Manscaped, from head to toe. So guys, let's be honest, you want to be trimmed down there, especially if you're a dad. You get a little hairy when you're a dad. It's no secret. We get a little hairy. That's why you need Manscaped. Keep it looking trim, neat. That's what you want. Manscaped, it's designed with dads in mind, and the Performance Package 4.0 is here just in time for your Pop Special Day. Inside the package, you'll get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Oh, I get nose hair a lot. Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold his goodies. The boxers are great. So here's what you have to do, guys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code ROUNDUP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code ROUNDUP. Shake what your mama gave you? Nah, shake what your daddy gave you. Yeah, thank you, Manscaped. All right, on to the rest of the story. Some GameStop employees in Nebraska were fed up and walked off the job. This happened last weekend after 4 employees at the store in the Gateway Mall in Lincoln, Nebraska, walked out, citing bad working conditions and a verbally abusive district manager. They left a note on the door that went viral saying, in part, "We regret to inform you that we all quit. Our district manager has no respect for us as employees or human beings." They provided a list of other gaming stores for people to shop at, saying, "Spend your money at an establishment that respects its employees." Frank Maurer, who is the store's newly promoted manager, said to Kotaku that he was never properly trained on any of his new responsibilities. At one point, he had to work more than 2 weeks straight with no days off. He also said the district manager routinely threatened staff over their failure to meet impossible goals. Now, this is not the first issue that employees have had with this district manager. Kotaku said it's the second time this year that a GameStop in the area has had its entire staff resign in protest. One former employee wrote on Facebook, there have actually been 4 walkouts since August of last year because of that particular district manager. 4 walkouts over 2 stores. Oh, and GameStop is also getting into NFTs because of course they are. Unionization has been a big topic among gaming developers these days after the QA staff at Raven Software voted to do so recently. And now some QA workers at another developer followed suit. We're talking about the staff at Keyword Studios in Edmonton, Canada. They recently voted to unionize. Now, you might not have heard of Keyword, but they contract with Bioware on stuff like the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Staffers said they started talking about unionization in March after the studio implemented a return to office order, which meant more commuting costs for everybody. QA workers also said they don't get paid time off. In a statement on their website, Keyword Studios wrote that they accepted the vote, saying, "As an organization, we want to ensure an engaging experience for all our employees, and we take any concerns that our staff have seriously. We will continue to have an ongoing dialogue with all individuals in the Edmonton team as we move forward together, always learning and improving." So apparently there is a new Just Cause in development. That is according to Square Enix. They would know. They kind of low-key dropped that news at an investor briefing recently. Someone posted their comments on Reset Era where Square Enix officials said, "We want to focus on creating new titles that align with our strategy, including ones that leverage new IP. The Just Cause franchise will remain our IP, and we're at work developing a new title in the franchise." Beyond that, we don't have any details. Just Cause 4 came out in 2018, got pretty mediocre reviews. We heard of a possible movie from the creator of John Wick, but that's about it. Now, we know that Square sold a lot of its Western studios recently to Embracer Group, but they reiterated in the investors meeting that Just Cause remains their IP. Now, it's assumed that Avalanche Studios Group, they are the longtime developer of Just Cause, will be working on the new game. PC Games In found a job listing where Avalanche said it's working on an unannounced, cutting-edge AAA open world game. Could we get an E3 back next year? That's what organizers are saying after E3 was canceled this year. It's definitely seemed like it's been on its last legs. It was also canceled in 2020, and it was digital only last year. But ESA President and CEO Stan Pierre Louis told the Washington Post they're coming back next year with both a digital and in-person event for E3. He said, "As much as we love these digital events, and as much as they reach people, and we want that global reach, we also know there's a really strong desire for people to convene, to be able to connect in person and see each other and talk about what makes games great." Dates have not been announced. It's usually held in June at the LA Convention Center, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, the void has been somewhat filled this year by the Summer Game Fest Live that recently took place. And of course, there's the Microsoft Bethesda Game Showcase that's taking place tomorrow, June 12th. All right, time for a 5-second review. I only played soccer once. I was 9. Someone kicked me in the stomach with the ball, and I did this. Oh, God. Sporting career over. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Autonauts. In Autonauts, you must build, create, and automate. Start by establishing a colony, crafting bots, and teaching them via Scratch-style programming to build an ever-evolving autonomous paradise of agriculture, industry, and enlightenment. Comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch June 16th. Overlord, Escape from Nazareth. It's a 2D action-adventure game set in the rich world of the epic dark fantasy Overlord. This latest installment in the series features an original story, find Clementine's missing memories, and make your escape. It comes to PC and Switch June 16th. Redout 2, the fastest racing game in the universe. Redout 2 is a tribute to classic arcade racing games and the sequel to the critically acclaimed Redout. Reach impossible speeds and exhilarating futuristic races across an extensive single-player campaign and competitive multiplayer. Comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch June 16th. And finally, Starship Troopers Terran Command. This is a thrilling real-time strategy game set in the Starship Troopers movies universe. Take command of the mobile infantry and do your part in the war against the arachnid threat. Ensure that human civilization, not insects, dominate the galaxy now and always. It comes to PC June 16th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you soon.